You think the Megalodon went extinct long ago. Wrong. In 1959, scientists hauled a tooth up from the floor of the Pacific Ocean. The test results left them in stunned silence. That tooth may have been only 10,000 years old. 10,000 years. In geology, that's basically yesterday. You think that was just an isolated case? Wrong again. In the 1970s, the U.S. Navy was conducting sonar surveys in the South Pacific. They recorded a massive target, over 20 meters long, shooting past beneath the ship at incredible speed. The sonar operator said it wasn't a whale. Whales don't move that fast. But do you really think the scariest thing about the Megalodon was just its size? No. The most terrifying thing is that it was never simply a giant version of the great white shark. In 2021, a study showed that, after scientists analyzed the protein sequence in Megalodon teeth, they found its genetic relationship to modern great white sharks was far more distant than anyone had imagined. It belonged to a branch of ocean predators that humans still don't fully understand. And now, the only super predator in that branch may still be alive. So here's the question. If the Megalodon really is hiding in the deep sea, why have we never found it? The answer is even more terrifying than you think. Because it never needed to surface frequently for air like a whale, a giant predator that can keep its body warm in freezing deep water, and doesn't need to come up for breath very often. Is it really hiding from us? Or is it waiting for something? But the story goes far beyond that. In 2025, a group of scientists, 28 people from all over the world, spent years doing something wildly ambitious. They tore down everything we'd imagined about Megalodon over the past 150 years and started from scratch. And guess what they found? We had always assumed. The Megalodon was just a supersized great white shark. That's how movies showed it. That's how museums displayed it. That's how textbooks drew it. But the truth is, that image was wrong from the very beginning. So how was it wrong? You have to go back to 1835. At that time, there was a scientist named Agassiz. He only had a few huge triangular teeth in his hands. He looked at them and thought, these look a bit like great white shark teeth. So he simply sketched a gigantic great white shark. That assumption dominated science for nearly 200 years. Then, in 2025, someone finally found something more valuable than teeth. A vertebra. Just the trunk alone measured 11 meters long. Scientists took that bone and compared it with data from 165 shark species. The result was chilling. The Megalodon's head made up only 16.6% of its body, while its tail accounted for 32.6%. What does that mean? It wasn't some bulky, sluggish ambush hunter. It was long, streamlined, and torpedo-like. A monster built for pursuit. If you stood it upright, it would be as tall as an 8-story building. In the water, it didn't wait for prey to come to it. It chased you until you were dead. Even scarier, it was warm-blooded. In 2023, an academic paper analyzed the chemical composition inside Megalodon teeth and confirmed that its body temperature was 7 degrees Celsius warmer than the surrounding seawater. That means it could stay active and deadly in the freezing deep sea without needing to surface constantly like a whale. But then the question becomes, how did a 20-plus meter warm-blooded predator that didn't need to breathe often disappear from Earth? Scientists searched for years, and the answer they eventually gave might surprise you. It starved to death, not froze to death, not defeated by some other monster. It literally starved. Around 3.6 million years ago, Earth entered a period of dramatic change. Shallow seas shrank by nearly 30% in one go. The whales and dolphins Megalodon loved to eat declined sharply. More than half of the large marine mammals disappeared. And at that moment, a smaller competitor appeared, the great white shark. A great white only needs to eat a few dozen kilograms of food per day. A Megalodon, on the other hand, needed more than a ton every day, about the weight of a full-grown dairy cow. When food becomes scarce, who collapses first? The answer is obvious. A ruler that dominated the oceans for nearly 20 million years was eventually beaten by a later arrival that simply burned less fuel. But did you notice something even stranger? Megalodon existed for nearly 20 million years and left behind more than 40,000 teeth, scattered across every ocean on Earth. Yet not a single complete body has ever been found. Not even one full skeleton fragment. Why? Because a shark's skeleton is made of cartilage. Cartilage doesn't fossilize well. Over tens of millions of years, the ocean stripped away every bit of flesh. leaving only the teeth behind, like letters with no sender. Just thinking about that gives you chills, doesn't it? Because if its body was never preserved, how do you ever prove it's truly gone? And yet, some people still refuse to accept that. The most popular theory is that it's hiding in the Mariana Trench. Humans have only descended there 3 times, and each time for less than 4 hours. We've explored less than 5% of the ocean, so why are we so sure it's extinct? At first glance, that sounds pretty reasonable, but scientists immediately poured cold water on it, 3 times over. First, there's nothing to eat down there. At 8,000 meters deep, the fish you can find are less than 20 centimeters long. What would a 20-meter beast that needs to eat a ton of food every day survive on there? Rocks? Second, if it were still alive, it would have to come up to feed, right? But over the past 3 million years, there has been no reliable sighting, no fresh tooth, and not a single whale carcass with new Megalodon bite marks. Finally, and perhaps most unsettling of all, look at blue whales today. They can grow to over 30 meters long and weigh more than 100 tons. Why? Because the creature that could kill them is gone. If Megalodon were still around, whales would have been eaten as snacks long ago. They would never dare grow that big. So the scientific consensus is clear. Megalodon is indeed extinct. But that's not where the story ends. Did you know that the 1959 dating result was later overturned? The deposition rate of manganese dioxide was unstable, so that 10,000 year estimate was unreliable. The tooth only looked fresh because of chemical reactions in its mineral shell. And yet, do you still feel a little knot in your stomach? We still don't fully understand Earth's mantle. We've seen less than 5% of the deep ocean. In those dark, freezing, crushing depths, where even steel can be twisted like a ribbon. What else is hiding there? Can we really say there isn't even the tiniest chance? In truth, what Megalodon left us isn't just a pile of teeth and a terrifying legend. It showed us something bigger. On this planet, no one stays on top forever. A 20-million-year reign can end in an instant, and it can leave behind not even a complete skeleton. No matter how invincible a ruler seems, in the end, it loses to the environment and to time. A little painful, isn't it? But look at it another way. The fact that we now explore the deep sea, study ancient life, and desperately try to figure out what that giant really looked like, that itself is one of the most human things about us. We get curious about a shadow from tens of millions of years ago. We get afraid. We get obsessed, and we can't help asking whether it really died. Whether Megalodon truly went extinct may not be the most important question. What matters is this: we are still willing to believe the deep sea holds the unknown. That belief is curiosity, written into our genes. It makes us excited over a single tooth. It makes us argue over a signal. The universe is vast. The deep sea is deeper. We know so little, but it is precisely those unknowns that keep us asking. Curiosity is humanity's true Megalodon. It has never gone extinct, and it never will. Maybe one day, when humans finally descend to the deepest point of the Mariana Trench, and a searchlight illuminates a seabed that has never seen light before, we'll find one thing: a row of teeth, fresh, unfossilized, as if they fell out just yesterday. But have you ever wondered? This ocean has left behind countless rulers. Yet the one that survived to the very end was never the strongest. It was the one that knew how to change. I'll leave that thought with you, and with me.